Hey guys, Corey here. Check out the army that I have on the screen right now. This thing is absolutely bonkers. That is 4 ice golems, 18 witches. All right, what made me decide to try this? That's easy. Everybody's running a ton of single target infernos nowadays, and it's well known for quite a while that witches are a good counter to single target infernos. So with everybody running 2 or sometimes even 3 single target infernos at Town Hall 13 right now, I'm like, man, I really want to test out a mass witch army, and that's exactly what you're seeing done right here. Now there's a couple keys to this. The most devastating defenses inside the base that you have to keep an eye on are going to be the scatter shots and the Town Hall. You're going to want to be able to take care of those with the initial push, especially those scatter shots. They can kill the witches so quickly. So you see, I actually used the Grand Warden while my witches were in range of the scatter shot. The reason I didn't need to save it for the Town Hall, look at the queen in there, is because I figured my queen would go back, and she's really good at taking out that Town Hall one-on-one, which is exactly what happened right there. Now Royal Champion's locked on by that single, but with the ability, gets it down soon enough, still has some health left. Guys, look at how many witches are still on the screen. So many witches, and look how many skellies those witches are spawning. We've got thousands of skellies on the screen right now, you guys. Just gonna crush through the last part of this base. There is absolutely nothing left that can contain and stop that many witches and skeletons. Hang in there till the end, because later on I'm going to show you guys exactly what type of bases to use this army on. I hit a few FCs with it first, and then I decided to take it into Legends for a little bit more testing. But guys, here is the next attempt, and this next base, this is one I would have never thought to even try it on, just because the Town Hall is difficult to get to, and you have to get the Town Hall with the initial push. You're not going to have backside witches taking out a Town Hall. It's not going to happen. So since the pathing to the Town Hall is so difficult on this one, if I was looking at a war attack, I would not choose this base for this attack. But since it's one of the ones that was offered, it is running 2 out of 3 single target infernos, I decided to give it a shot and made sure that I could jump and quake to open up the Town Hall. Once again, I used an early Grand Warden ability trying to keep those witches alive through the scatter shot blast, and I'm coming in a way where I'm going to take out those scatter shots sooner than later. But as far as the Town Hall is concerned, I was really relying on and obviously crossing my fingers on having my queen be the one to take out that Town Hall. Luckily for me, because where I placed her had enough troops on the edges, she's gonna do just that. Just like we talked about on that last attack, queen is really good about solo taking out the Town Hall. Doesn't need healers or nothing. Honestly, she doesn't even need to pop her ability, but if you want to get through a little quicker, you can always get that ability pop there. So here we go. We got Royal Champion coming in on the bottom side there. We've got skellies that are actually tanking for the Royal Champion. Look at this, you guys. My queen does not have much health left, but she's coming over there to try and help clean up the rest of those CC troops. Unfortunately, my Royal Champion did get locked onto by the single, so she's going to be going down really soon. But we still got some witches on the top side coming around. We still got some on the bottom working on getting this base cleaned up the rest of the way. We had a couple unfortunate giant bombs out there that took me down to just 1 witch left on that top side. A couple more giant bombs that are going to take them out on the bottom, but with the aid of 1 witch and a Grand Warden, going to get the last few structures in this base taken down. And once again, guys, this is not a base I would normally try this attack on if it was in a war or that sort of thing, because I want to plan a path where I get to the scatter shots and the Town Hall nice and early. Now this base here is one that I wouldn't mind using it on war. This one I went ahead and used one of my Legends attacks. Ended up drawing this base, which is honestly pretty gosh darn perfect for it. You're going to see from this main push right here, I'm going to have early access to the Town Hall. Going to get that down using the Grand Warden ability to keep my witches alive through that Town Hall blast. Of course, also to keep my heroes and the peck out of the siege barracks from taking that much damage as well. Here we go. Town Hall. Come on. Here we go. Warden ability, it lasts just long enough to keep my troops invincible through that Town Hall blast, and then it wears off. Now they gotta deal with those double scatter shots. This is not ideal. I do not have a Grand Warden ability left, don't have any freezes in this composition, and look, the queen decided to go off to the side instead of working in there on the scatter shot. That scatter shot's putting in work on my witches. The scatter shots on this took out so many witches that I was honestly pretty fortunate to be able to get through the back half of this base with with 8 of the Hogs, the Royal Champion, and that heal spell. So you gotta watch those scatter shots. Honestly, they're more devastating than the Town Hall in this attack, just because a lot of times your witches don't end up in the Town Hall blast radius. Sometimes they do, sometimes they can wipe them all out, but honestly, the scatter shots will wipe them out every time if you let them. Look at this, we still got a couple Hogs left. We got that Royal Champion who still has her ability left. Worth noting, I do not even have max heroes on this account, so you gotta take that into account as well. Royal Champion, gotta pop her ability pretty soon to go ahead and take out the last couple defenses and help with cleanup just a little bit. At this point, we're up to just skellies, witches running around, getting the rest of this one done, going to ×4 so we can get through it quick as we wrap up this triple. Now this next one that I have to show you guys is actually going to be right after I got back from my vacation. I still had this army queued up, so I went out, I found a base that was running 3 single target Infernos, had enough loot for me, and I decided to give it a shot. I started out with an Ice Golem and 5 witches up top. Now I'm taking a look at the left hand side, and I know my witches cannot reach to cut in that funnel on the left hand side, but I noticed that my queen can reach the wizard tower, cannon, and gold storage. So I placed my queen after the Ice Golem to cut in that side of the funnel to keep a ton of my witches actually going inside the base, and I'm crossing fingers hoping that the queen keeps moving to the right to meet up with my troops. Use the Quake spell to open up the inside of that base as we see those witches up top have just finished creating that funnel. Once that mortar's gone, I'm gonna have a beautiful funnel into the core of this base. Here we go, troops are coming in. They're gonna be coming into some serious contact with that scatter shot and the Town Hall, but since the Town Hall is opened up entirely, I end up popping that Grand Warden ability too early. At this point, I'm hoping that the witches avoid the Town Hall, but that is not to be. They all converge on the Town Hall. Look how many, I just had like 10 witches die to that Town Hall blast, because as of this attack, I hadn't played Clash for like 10 days. I literally just got back from my vacation, and this was the second attack I've done. So I lost like 10 witches in there, and we'll see if this one is still going to triple. Even though I lost 10 witches in there, we're taking out that last scatter shot right now. The Hogs jump inside the perimeter of it, so it can no longer damage them. I still have them alive. Both the scatter shots are down at this point. Royal Champion still has not used her ability quite yet, but since we lost so many witches in the core, we're a little short on cleanup troops, guys. This one is going to be close. Royal Champion's still doing her thing. Look at that. I realized I had a rage on the far right hand side in my CC that I forgot to use with the regular push, so I put it down for the Royal Champion so she can get busted through the last couple defenses. We got a single wizard on the left hand side. We got a few random skellies running through the base. Look at that, I still got Hogs left in here, guys. That is some crazy stuff. Royal Champion coming on the right hand side, trying to get this base cleaned up in time. We got a few Hogs in the middle, 1 wizard along with a handful of skellies and a few archers on the left hand side. As we see that all the defenses are gone on this base, this is definitely going to be a triple. And like I said, this one was right after I got back from vacation. I literally had not played Clash of Clans for 10 days, still able to get it done. So when should we use this army? First of all, let's pull it up. We're going to talk about that. Alright guys, we're going to take a look at a couple bases to see what ones we'd be wanting to use this attack on. I don't even have this army cooked up right now, but right now we're still talking about that Mass Witch army, 4 Ice Golems, 18 Witches. Now if I had to hit this base, which I'm not going to, with the Mass Witch army, basically I would end up jumping right here, right over this Wizard Tower, and then I would Quake open these 2 wall sections right there because I want to take on that Town Hall and both those scatter shots really early. I would definitely use the Grand Warden ability when my witches were firing on the Town Hall, but I would try to delay it until it was activated, until they were definitely firing on it, because I want that Grand Warden ability to last through to here where they're going to be taking some shots from those scatter shots as well, because if you keep them alive through the Town Hall, but they eat all the scatter shots blasted, they're just going to die anyways. Honestly, if you can get through the Town Hall and those scatter shots with a well-timed Grand Warden, you can wreak havoc on the rest of this base. However, this one happens to be running 3 multi-target Infernos, so even though I definitely like the entry for this attack, I would not end up choosing to use it on this base because of the 3 multi-target Infernos in there. And honestly, guys, the Mass Witch army is best suited to bases that are running at least 2, if not 3, single-target Infernos. Alright guys, next up we've got a base that does have 3 single-target Infernos, but I'm a little bit iffy on whether or not I've used this attack for this base. Sure, you might get it done, but what I'm seeing is we got the Town Hall and both the multi both the scatter shots in the very core of the base, and I'm not seeing a very clear way to path my group through there with the first push of the attack. And honestly, that's what I'm mostly looking for on these attacks. So could it work on this base? Yeah, probably. Maybe I'm just not seeing the right angle, but I would hesitate to use it on it because of how deep those scatter shots and the town hall are, and we see some difficult pathing to get through to all three of those early. If I had to hit it, I would probably try and prioritize the scatter shots, you know, really funnel this side and come in from this side, prioritize the scatter shots, and kind of rely on my queen to get the town hall. But since both of the singles are right there, relying on a queen to get that only is going to be difficult. So if I'm looking at this attack base in war, I'm probably not choosing to use this attack strategy on it. Alright guys, now here is a base that I would love to use this attack on. Honestly, I wish I had the army queued up right now, otherwise I would just attack it for this video. But let me tell you why I like it so much. First of all, we got the town hall, and both the scatter shots are easily accessible in the front end of the attack. Kind of like we talked about on the first base that we're looking at. I would save that Grand Ward ability until my witches were actually next to the town hall or firing on the activated town hall. Then I would pop that Grand Warden ability, hoping that they would last long enough to carry them through 90% of the scatter shot damage on the backside. All right, and I would jump right over this king platform right in there to give access to that town hall, and then I would quake behind it to get open all the way from this wall right here all the way to over right here. That way we got access to both of those scatter shots, so my troops can go from the town hall, zoom in, get the scatter shots. Once those scatter shots are down, all the dangerous defenses are already taken out in the base, and then we've got witches versus, you know, a bunch of expos, which are not great for witch, but they're not as bad as like wizard towers, nothing like the scatter shot or town hall. And look around the edges. Honestly, I would just drop them in a straight line here so we'd have a healthy group going around the right hand side. Look at the right hand side, man. There's no wizard towers even out on the edges. Witches would demolish the whole right side of the base. If we look at the left side, you know, it would take some shots from that scatter shot, but honestly, they'd probably be focused on the core group. So witchers would do pretty well around this outside left side as well. So this base, I would definitely hit this with this mass witch army if I ran across this one or more. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. In the middle of your screen, there's a button to subscribe to the channel. Over on the other side, there's going to be a video that that YouTube thinks is going to be a video that you like. So go ahead and check that out. Friends, I'll see you in the next video.